Good.
Austin Peay head coach Scotty Walden. The Governor's coming off a loss to Southeast Missouri. They have their open date this week. After the open date, they're going to have two on the road for that beginning October 23rd at Murray State. So, Coach, thoughts on your team, and then we'll go into any questions.
Yeah, Kyle, I appreciate it. Obviously, very disappointing loss, and we're in a slump right now. I mean, call it what it is. We've we dropped 3 straight, not playing very well. But I think that the things as a coach you got to look at are what are the things that are correctable, and are the things that are not correctable. And we have many, if not all, the mistakes that are correctable. I mean, I really believe we are our own worst enemy right now. I mean, we're turning the ball over too much, putting our defense in bad spots. I mean, give SEMO credit. I mean, Coach Tuke and his staff, really quality program. And I thought those guys came in, but we spotted them 9 points to start the game out. I mean, we muff a punt, and then we fumble, and those guys, and give SEMO credit, once again, they capitalize on their opportunities. But the most frustrating thing I would say, about where we're at right now, and as from a player standpoint, a coach standpoint, is the things that we're doing in games are uncharacteristic of what we do in practice. A lot of times as coaches, we talk about all the time, well, your practice habits lead to your game habits. And, I would challenge anybody to come watch any of our practices. I mean, our guys are focused, they're detailed. We got great leadership. We don't have culture issues. And not mean we're perfect. I mean, everybody's got, issues here and there and stuff like that. But I mean, we don't have a group of guys that take that field every day. I mean, I wish that everybody could have seen the practice I just came off the field with, because if you'd have seen that practice and I told you, you don't know our record, you don't know what we've been through, just watch our practice, tell me what you think. I guarantee you everybody that watches that practice would say, man, that looks like an undefeated football team, or it looks like they're having a lot of success. I mean, these guys fly around, they have great energy, great effort, great execution practice. We just got to go do it in a game, but we have to relax and take that pressure off. And that's something we talked about a lot, the past 2 weeks is, guys, there's no pressure here. Let's go play football, and it's kind of indicative of that last drive. I know it ended in an interception, but I mean, you look at DJ and look at our O-line and look at our receivers. We were down 2 scores. We knew that if we were going to have a chance to even onside kick and get the ball back, we were going to have to score. And we just said, heck, they know we're throwing it. We know we're throwing it. Who cares? We're just going to go play ball. And we relaxed. We played instinctive football. We were feeling grass, which is what our offense is all about, finding grass. And we found our rhythm. And unfortunately, obviously, we forced the throw there at the end. But, we were just relaxing and playing and moving the ball. And that's what we have to get back to. But Kyle, I meant what I said earlier. I mean, I love the fight of this team. I love this football program. I love these kids. They are working their tails off, and they care about Austin Peay State University. They care about Clarksville. They care. We have a lot of pride here. We got a lot of pride in who we are, and we're not going to back down in that. And we know, we know that our play has been unacceptable. But what are you going to do? You're going to sit here and we're going to, whine about it, cry about it, and say, "Woe is me." No, we're going to get back on that horse, and we're going to keep fighting and keep striving, and until they tell us, the football season's over. We're going to keep fighting every single day, and we're going to come to work every single day. What kind of habits are we going to have? Right? Are we going to have great habits at practice, off the field? Are we going to continue those great habits and keep harnessing that and focusing on that? Or are we just going to get down on ourselves and splinter? And we're not going to allow that to happen. And I've been really proud of our leadership. We've had a lot of heart-to-heart talks, letting captains speak, letting our players speak, and our coaches speak. And I believe I got the best coaching staff in America. I really do. They pour into these young men. They hold them accountable, and they're right. We're right there in the trenches together, and all of us, from the janitor all the way to the equipment guy, we're all locked arms, 1 and 1, and we're ready to get back on the field, next week. But we know that this week, we don't call it a bye week around it. We call it an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to grow and to get better, and that's exactly what we're doing and what we plan on doing.
Sorry. Thanks, Coach. Blaine is with us. He has 2 questions to start us off. So go ahead, Blaine.
What's up, Coach Walden? You talked over the weekend about some personnel things that you maybe might make after you looked at the tape and stuff like that. Obviously, you've had the chance to do that, and you've had a practice under your belt for this week. Are there anything right now that you're kind of considering heading into this opportunity week and then going into Murray State next week?
Yeah, I mean, there's different personnel packages, we're looking at and continuing to evaluate. But Blaine, what you got to do during, let me hit the snooze button here. The computer trying to turn off on me. I had to hit the snooze. But so when you go in the opportunity week, we want to create as much, like we're getting our threes reps. We're getting guys that maybe haven't traveled. We're getting guys that have kind of been what we would call like fringe guys that are, playing a little bit that, hey, we think this guy's really coming along and we're going to get him, more reps and see, if he'll take that, take kind of that ownership. But I'll tell you this, I've challenged a lot of guys. I mean, we've challenged a lot of guys and said, hey, man, it's going to be a competition this week. We're going to compete. And we want, I think when you have a competitive environment, which we have great depth. Now we're young, but we have great depth and talented depth. And so I think there's a lot of positions that know, man, if I slack up, this guy could pass me up. This guy could outplay me, outdo me. And our guys, they embrace that. They love competition. And but that's what we're challenging, Blaine, to be honest with you, man. We're looking at all personnel groupings. And when I say personnel too, I'm talking about how can we get, our best players to football? How can we get our best tacklers in space on third down to scheme it up to where he's the guy that should be fitting the C gap or the B gap and making that play? Or are we blitzing the right people? Are we playing the right people in the return units? All those things are being evaluated. And there's some certain spots where, we definitely, challenged some guys and said, hey, man, it's time to go. It's time to compete. And, again, we have a high standard here, man. We do. And we expect to win every game we play. I don't care who we're playing, and I'll never back down from that. And we're going to plan to win, and we're going to play to win in every single one of our games. And we have to create competition to do that.
Yeah, and this next one's kind of a bit of a loaded one, but after the SEMO game, there were, a couple of media outlets here in town. I'm not sure if you saw it, saying that you've lost the locker room. And they were making some kind of deeper claims out of the loss to SEMO. I'm curious to see if you heard anything about that over the weekend, if you've experienced anything like that in your coaching career, and kind of what your response to it was.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I really didn't, see a bunch of that stuff, to be honest with you. I'm on social media, but I really don't, go digging, too deep. And, we talk about it all the time in our program, Blaine, that, I mean, from when in our player manual, we actually talk about this, the bottom line is when you're winning, man, everybody thinks you hung the moon. Let's call it what it is. That's the reality. When you're winning, Scotty Walden's the best coach, young coach. Oh my gosh, hey, so-and-so's this. We got the best players. When we're losing, oh man, hey, what are we doing? I mean, that's football. That's what I signed up for. But I'm not, the circumstance we're in are not going to dictate my effort or my attitude. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, we have not lost this locker room one bit. And again, I challenge anybody that wrote that stuff. I don't know what local media outlets you're referring to, but anybody in Clarksville, Tennessee, or anybody that wrote those media deals, they got a free invitation to come to our 7 a.m. practice every single morning and come watch, and you tell me if I've lost this team or not. And so I can tell you right now, this team is fighting. I got a bunch of fighters in that locker room, and they fight tooth and nail every single day. We got a coaching staff that fights. And I'll tell you right now, if anybody wants to come to a practice, I'll let you be the judge of that. Come out to one of our 7:45 a.m. practices, and y'all can come judge and see if we've lost this team or not.
Hey, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Coach, what's it to be said? Your 5 most important games are still after this opportunity, Reek, right? Because you still control your own destiny if you win. Sometimes it's not like that. You might play important games earlier in the year in the conference standings. So can you talk about that? What's still to come, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest, Kyle. Our culture is a process-driven culture, and I'm really trying to hone our guys back into that. I think we lost sight of that for the past couple of weeks, and we're thinking about the big picture, what could be. But there's times to take, like, when I was talking with the offense on Sunday, I said, guys, I mean, I took the blinders off for a second. Like, I don't like living in the past. I don't like living in the future, but I'm looking at the same people right now that had over 400 yards of offense and moved the ball really, really well and had 27 first downs against an SEC defense who's a top 25 team in the country. Let's call it what it is, in front of 70,000 people. So there's no reason for us to be down on ourselves. We just have to quit being our own worst enemy, and we got to go relax and just play ball. And I think the guys really kind of, they did a great job speaking up and saying what was on their heart. I thought it was a very conducive meeting. But in terms of what we have going forward, I haven't talked to the team much about that because, really, I don't think we're at a point where, we need to be talking about, what's to come. The only thing I'm worried about is this opportunity. But you're 100% right. I mean, SEMO, if you, as a coach, you look at everything. I mean, SEMO's lost the game in conference. obviously if we win these next 5, it gives ourselves a chance to do something special, but it doesn't matter if we don't worry about this week and this opportunity week. We have to get better. And that's what we have to do. And that's exactly what I was very proud of our young men coming on the field this morning and striving to get better and focusing and having great details in practice. And those habits are going to, I just believe, again, I'm around these guys every day. I watch the film every day. I'm in the culture every day. I'm in the team meeting every day. I'm in the position meeting every day. And there is so much right going on. There's so much right going on. Again, we ain't perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I'm just telling you, there's so much right going on. And I know if we stay unwavering in our culture, unwavering in our faith, and we continue to put good practices and good meetings stacked on each other over and over and over again, I know that we're going to come out of this slump and we're going to overcome it. And good is going to come. So we're going to continue to stay positive and push our guys on and off the field to be the best men they can be and the best players they can be and represent this university in a first-class way in everything we do. And I think if we do that, Kyle, I think everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time as always. Best luck in this opportunity week, and then we'll talk to you again next Tuesday at this time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Y'all have a great one. Appreciate it.